Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day everyone. In this morning assembly, I'm going to introduce one of our Muslim scientists, Ibnu Haytham. Well, maybe not everyone know about him, but his contribution in modern scientific method is really influential. So as a student and as a Muslim, at least we must be proud that so many scientists, especially Muslim, give so many contributions in the knowledge that we learn in this era. So let's find out who Ibnu Haytham is. Okay, let's start from quotes. Here is a quote from Al-Haytham. If learning the truth is the scientist's goal, then he must make all that he reads his enemy. It means as a scholar or as a student, we must always have critical thinking. What it means is we must not accept what we read or what we are told to be true before we ourselves test the truth. When reading a book that proposed claims, we must use our head, our critical thinking. We should not accept the claims for granted right away before we can test the truth of the claim. Well, for example, when reading a book, always ask these questions. What if the claim is wrong? What if the opposite is true? We cannot know this unless we make an inquiry through scientific experiment, cross-referencing, and other scientific tools. So, what Al-Haytham means, do not easily be fooled by pseudo-scientific claims. So, it means that we must think smart. Yeah. And next, for the introduction, okay, here's the picture of Ibnu Haytham, and Al-Hasan Ibnu Al-Haytham, or Latinized as Al-Hasan, was born in 965 in Basra and died 10,040 in Cairo. Actually, he was born around 1,000 years ago during Islamic Golden Age in present-day Iraq. Al-Hasan ibn al-Haytham, known in the West by the Latinized form of his first name, with initially Al-Hasan and later become Al-Hasan. Well, he was a pioneering scientific thinker who made important contributions to the understanding of vision, optics, and light. Ya, penglihatan, optik, dan cahaya. Well, his methodology of investigation, in particular using experiment to verify theory, shows certain similarities to what later became known as the modern scientific method. So, he is the father of modern optics. Later, when you guys are in secondary 5, you will learn about optic. Nah, the first introduction of this optic is coming from Ibnu Haytham. Okay, this is some stories about Ibnu Haytham. So, like a few years ago, a few thousand years ago, yeah. Ibnu Haytham said that we can see because light rays reflect off objects and their images enter our eyes. In bahasa, dia mengatakan bahwa kita bisa lihat Karena sinar cahaya itu direfleksikan, dipantulkan dari objek, dan gambar mereka itu yang dipantulkan tadi masuk ke mata kita. Ya, ini from assumption only. But the statement of Ibnu Haytham is refuted, disangkal, by many of his colleagues, because in the first place he cannot explain his hypothesis gitu ya. And then here one of his colleagues said that it's nonsense. The great Greek scholar Euclid has taught that invisible rays shine out of our eyes, and that is how we see. Jadi di pengetahuan sebelumnya seorang pelajar juga udah mengajarkan terlebih dahulu bahwa sinar yang tak tampak itu bersinar, mengeluarkan sinarnya gitu ya, dari mata kita. Jadi itulah kenapa kita bisa lihat. Jadi notes-nya di sini adalah Ibnu Haytham mengatakan kata kunci that is reflect of, memantulkan gitu. Sedangkan kalau dari pengetahuan sebelumnya itu memang sinarnya itu bersinar langsung dari mata kita. Bedanya itu ya. Kalau Ibnu Haytham mengatakan reflect, pantulan. Nah, kalau yang pengetahuan sebelumnya itu bersinar gitu. Jadi langsung menyinari. Jadi that's the difference. So he gets many loves, tawa gitu ya. Banyak ditertawakan oleh teman-temannya gitu. Karena dari pemikirannya itu. Okay, next. Okay, one day there was a challenge from the Caliph, pemimpin zaman itu ya, to build a dam to prevent flood from the river Nile. Jadi untuk mencegah banjir dari sungai Nil, ada tantangan untuk membuat bendungan gitu ya, dam. Nah, here is for the Grand Nile Dam, but okay, this is the Grand Nile Dam, but okay, Ibnu al-Haytham was invited ya tadi by al-Hakam, known as the Mad Caliph, pemimpin saat itu, to Egypt to demonstrate his claim that he could regulate the Nile by building a dam. However, after personally surveying near the southern border of Egypt, Ibnu al-Haytham confessed his inability to engineer such a project. Nah, ternyata gagal gitu ya. Jadi Ibnu al-Haytham ibaratkannya menyerah gitu ya. Although still given an official position by the Caliph, Ibnu al-Haytham began to fear for his life. So he faked madness and was confined to his own home until the end of al-Hakim's caliphate. But according to one version of another history, he's not madness and he's not confined to his own home, but he was imprisoned, di penjara, because of his inability to build a dam. Okay, and he was still there until the Caliph died. Jadi dia di penjara karena gagal membuat bendungan tadi. But his failure building a dam, some sources say, because he believed that building a dam will flood the surrounding villages of the dam. Jadi dia sebenarnya tuh sengaja gagal gitu membuat bendungannya karena dia percaya, he believed that building a dam, bangun bendungan itu will flood the surrounding villages. Jadi malah bikin banjir pedesaan-pedesaan di sekeliling dari damnya gitu ya. Okay, so it contradicts of his conscience gitu. However, even though in prison, he didn't stop to learn and experiment. You can see from this picture on the wall. Nah, ini sebenarnya adalah gambar refleksi dari sinar ya. The reflection from the light. Okay, so in prison he still learn and experiment. Okay, so he didn't stop learning. Okay, next, well, one of his experiments regarding optics was conducted in prison. It later leads to the invention of camera obscura. Some of the devices that we use today, like projector, camera, your phone camera, that was possible because of his invention. Okay, from this picture, actually in the prison, he observed that the light from the moon travels in straight lines through the small hole in the window, yeah, just like the opening at the front of the eye. Okay, and next, okay, so it in the straight line. Okay, so it reflects in the wall. So this is how we see. Nah, dari situlah dia terbukti pernyataan pertamanya ya, the first statement that getting loved by other colleges. Jadi teman-temannya juga menertawakan, ternyata spekulasi dia benar gitu ya. Jadi semuanya itu adalah hasil reflection atau pantulan gitu. Nah, itu adalah modal awal penemuan pertama yang membantu ilmuwan-ilmuwan sampai kita kenal optik sekarang ya, dari kamera tadi ya, kamera your phone camera, kamera HP kalian, projector, and etc. Okay, major works. Okay, and this is his major works. Daw al-Qamar on the light of the moon, Al-Hala wa Quzah on the halo and the rainbow, Al-Hala wa Quzah on the and Al-Dawa, a discourse on light, Hayat al-Alam on the configuration of the world. Okay, that's all. Well, Ibnu al-Haytham's actually the most important work is Kitab al-Manazir, optics ya. Jadi dia tuh penemu optics. Don't forget that he is the father of optics. Although it shows some influence from Ptolemy 2nd century AD optics, it contains the correct model of vision, the passive reception by the eyes of light is reflected from objects, not an active emanation of light rays from the eyes, and it combines experiment with mathematical reasoning, even if it is generally used for validation rather than discovery. And Ibnu al-Haytham's most famous astronomical work is Hayat al-Alam. The last page in here, Hayat al-Alam, on the configuration of the world, in which he presents a non-technical description of how the abstract mathematical models of Ptolemy Almagest can be understood according to the natural philosophy of his time. gitu. And Alhazen made significant contributions to optics, number theory, geometry, astronomy, and natural philosophy. Alhazen's work on optics is credited with contributing a new emphasis on experiment. Okay, I think that's all the information that I get for Ibnu Haytham. Feel free to find more information about our Muslim scientists. There are many more besides Ibnu Haytham. So I guess that's all from me. Thank you so much for your kind attention and really sorry for any mistake. Billahi taufik wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.